After the first time they played, Lendl said this guy is a forehand and a haircut. When he was talking about Andre Agassi, that was a Stratton semi-final match, but that just changed considerably since then. In 1988, the US Open, Agassi won the first set and then lost the next 3. And at the Masters, take a look at that score. Again, the first set won by Agassi, and a very tight second set. The match eventually won by Ivan Lendl, and remember, he lost that to Boris Becker. So he has a lot more respect for Andre Agassi now, of course, than he did the first time he played him. Agassi, of course, now still so young. 2 years ago was a lot younger still. Ivan Lendl, ranked #1 in the world, and Agassi, of course, the #5 player in the world. He's from Las Vegas, Nevada, and he's a showman. He's 19 years old, only just turned 19 just a week ago. As I said, 5th in the world, and in this tournament seeded 3rd. Mats Wilander was the #2 seed, and he lost.
Sorry, Cliff.
Rich Kaufman in the chair. Sorry.
Yes, it just looks, yes, and a very good umpire. Been around for a long time. Sorry to interrupt. Just surprised that Agassi is going to begin this match with his warm-up pants on.
Well, as we said, when you put the cold together, and it's just over 50 degrees, and there is some wind up there, it'll get your attention. First point, best of 3.
That's the way to establish a little bit of authority. First point, first game, first set.
Love 15. As we've been saying, Arthur, this is not an isolated match, is it? It means so much to the future of both of these guys,
yes.
Especially 1989, because Lendl wants to maintain his #1. He is looking toward a possibility of a Grand Slam. He must be favored to win the French, but he's got to get by Agassi.
Get the feeling that Agassi is going to warm up very quickly, all that running he's doing in this first game. I think the pants may come off after this next game.
To break points for Lendl in the first game. Get a feel for what the players have thought about before the match, and you have the feeling Lendl wants to be patient today, stay back and make Agassi hit the winners. And it has worked for him in the first game of this best of 3 set match, the Eagle Tournament of Champions. Lendl 1 game to love first set. Second game of the match, Lendl on the left of your screen will serve to Agassi, who is, as you see, has still got his sweatpants on. They have never played each other before on clay. The 3 times they played, 2 of them were on hard and 1 on carpet at the Nabisco Masters. Both have outstanding records on clay in '88. Lendl, remember, did not win the French, but he did win in Rome and Monte Carlo, the two events that lead up to the French Championships. Agassi, on the other hand, started out by winning the USTA clay courts in Charleston, the Tournament of Champions. Here he is the title holder, and in Stuttgart. Mats Wielander, who's having a slump at the present time, beat Agassi at the French in the semis. Easy going so far for Lendl. He has 3 game points for a 2-love lead first set. He has only lost 2 matches this year. He's won 3 titles, starting in Australia, which was the big one for him. And he won WCT Scottsdale and the Lipton on Keeper's Cane. Two games to love, first set.
Lendl leads 2-love.
Oh boy, compare this year and last year. Quite a difference.
Well, very simply, the two of them were the best 2 clay quarters in the world last year.
Yes, they were. However,
percentage-wise. Of course, neither one of them won the French.
Right.
Of course, Wielander won it.
well, Ivan Lendl said earlier he was not comfortable yet on clay, but his ultimate goal was to win the French again. If you watch Agassi moving from side to side and then having to chase that down the line forehand, I gotta think those pants are hurting him, hurting his reach. He better take them off fairly soon.
Wide.
I get the feeling, Cliff, that Lendl and Agassi right now are a little bit like Michael Spinks and Mike Tyson. I don't think Agassi can outslug Ivan Lendl. He's going to have to change tactics a little bit.
He hasn't so far. Break point, 2 of them. And this would give Lendl, if he can win this next point, his 2nd break in a row. And be very tough for Agassi to come back. Deuce.
Second double fault from Agassi.
Cost him 2 because Lendl has got another break point here. He moves in, he hits the ball so early and so well, doesn't he? Now he's won only 5 points in the match, you know. He only won 1 point in his first serve game, then Lendl won his serve to love. He's not cracking that first serve today like he was. Game point. Agassi opens his score. Lendl, the #1 player in the world, 2-1. First set. We'll be back. In age, these two are separated by 10 years, just about the same number of years. Separated them on the World Tour as well. Take a look at that. Grand Slam titles. Lendl has won 7. First Australian. He won earlier this year. Agassi hasn't won one yet. He got to the semi-finals, though, of both the French and the US Open last year. His time will come, make no mistake about it. 2-1, Lendl with the break. First set in this best of 3 Eagle Tournament of Champions from Forest Hills. Lendl said yesterday about playing against Agassi, it'll be great for me to find out where my game is now. With his pace and power, it'll show me where I am. And he is honing himself toward the French Championships. End of May, early June.
Take a peek at Ivan Lendl's serve, serving into the sun. He's adjusting a little bit, but you see how he leans in. The left foot comes in, touches the ground first, but still he's 6'3" and change. A lot of leverage. And the one stroke that has improved quite a bit in the last 2 or 3 years.
Really, he is serving better.
Yes,
now,
no question about it. And
ball toss is not quite as high.
No, it used to be unbelievably high.
Agassi anything short and you're going to pay the price.
No question. He hits it with an open stance as we watch here. He comes into mid-court. Boy, that's a lot of racket head momentum. 145 pounds.
Dynamite.
You were saying yesterday, Cliff, that you heard his father sort of admonishing Andre all the time. Hug the baseline, pick it up on the rise. And if you do that often enough, maybe the timing just develops. It certainly does with him. I know very few other players who had the timing of the ball on the rise like Andre Agassi.
Amazing, isn't it? You watch him, he crawls on the baseline there and he will not let go. I mean, he'll give you a couple of feet maybe.
He's not going to back up too much.
And how about Lendl is not a guy who messes about with the ball. He really hits it hard.
But he is just not going to retreat.
He stalks the baseline. Agassi. Break point.
Well, that's one of the marks of a good player. You get down, can you put that first serve in? He certainly did it.
It's his second ace.
Well, aces and sometimes double faults come in streaks. 2 in a row. I think it's probably going to the same place again. Let's see. He goes wide to the backhand.
They sandwiched an ace, so this is again game point.
Sun's now gone, so he can toss the ball in his regular place. Other side.
That's 4 aces, 3 in a row for Lendl. And that's the thing about him that not many other players in the world can do, other than a Yannick Noah, for example, or when he's serving well, a Boris Beck, and that is serve 3 aces in a row. Watch
Here
this.
is Lendl serve without the sun in his eyes. Ball tossed lower than 2 or 3 years ago. Comes through with an ace. That one went down the middle, across the crosshairs.
1-3 first set.